time lapse. One of the benefits, can you call it a benefit? One of the side shows of young children is sunrises. You get to see a lot of them. But I just want to give a quick shout to Dylan McKenna, who is doing his Everest attempt today. It's like, it's everyone's rite of passage at the moment. His or her Everest attempt. Everyone just does one now, seemingly. 7 hours, 31 minutes. Sounds about right, okay. Morning guys, I've been really harsh on this device, haven't I? This is the GoPro Hero 8. This is the bit that used to always get it, right? Here we go, 3, 2, waiting for it, 1. Exposure. What did you do, camera? What did you do? Have we fixed it? That and more, we will find out today as Chris brings back the bar bag. All right, let's go. Look at this, for the first time in 2 weeks, we're not going to have to clean our bike. Oh, have I spoken too soon? I'll drop the link again below to where the DJI came off. God rest its soul. Has anyone gone looking for it yet? I'd love to know. This is obviously one of the bits that's going to really interest me when I eventually get the phone down here. So obviously a training session. How does this play out? Can I look at intervals? Can I review intervals? All this kind of stuff. So it's certainly bringing up a lot more questions than I'd originally thought, actually, which is just so surprising. Just on the back of that little bit of power chat that I put up the other day. And again, I realize it's super basic, and I know it sounds lame, but like, I do forget that I skip a lot of stuff when I explain stuff to you, like real basic stuff, because that's about all I'm good at explaining. The questions that I got, firstly around heart rate, and can you just use heart rate? Yes, you could, but let's take these efforts that I'm doing right here, right now, into consideration. Once again, we're doing these longer efforts, these 30-minute efforts, and I really want you to pay attention to my heart rate down there on the bottom right, so you can see the power and the heart rate. And particularly what I want you to pay attention to is something called heart rate creep. Basically, I'm kind of trying to ride to a sub-threshold number around sort of 320, that kind of area. But as you'll see, as this effort progresses, my heart rate is going progressively up, whilst the power numbers are staying in the zone that I want them to stay in. And this would be one of the major challenges of riding training to heart rate, because really what's happening here is you're putting out the same amount of power, but your heart rate's going up, which would throw off the way you tried to ride that. It therefore makes really you guys trying to train to that heart rate really quite difficult, because you know, if I'm really consistent with my power, hang on, my heart rate's going up, you'll back off, which is what you don't want to do. So there are loads of variables with heart rate, and it's one that's really specific, I think, to us older gentlemen and ladies, which you can probably see here. So having a look there at the power and the heart rate, you probably saw that the power started off sort of in the 290 sort of area. Now we're up around 315, 320, but the heart rate hasn't moved. And what's interesting here is, you'll see it sort of move up and down as I quickly chat, but what's interesting here, if you're doing much shorter efforts,
It's that lag, it's that delay of your heart rate that becomes very difficult to train with, because your heart rate just it's slower to react to exercise, which makes that kind of training more difficult.
That's not me saying, guys, go out and buy a power meter. It's the only way you can train. That's not the point of what I should have said. The point of what I said was, how do I put this nicely? The reason you have a power meter, right, is not to sit around at the cafe and go, oh, I did 1300 watt sprint. Try to think of it less, these are my maximum numbers on my power meter, and more as a way for you to number one, like, monitor your progress over time, but also take yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit with how you ride. Like, instead of always smashing it up the little berg, try and smash it down the other side. Put that same power out down the other side. Just wanted to quickly mention the shorts, guys. So these are the Powerweave bib shorts. I'm absolutely loving them. So not having a seam, like, whilst probably marketing-wise it sounds good, like, from someone who's dealt a bit with Lycra in the past, I know that basically means you have less points to pivot, okay? Which isn't a good thing on bib shorts, because, like, you want pivot points because that's what this does.
So the challenge for these shorts was always to provide that sort of flexibility, but with the compression, that sports compression that the Powerweave came with. And you can tell in the original video that I did, that's why I was so excited by it. I was excited by it from a purely, this is something really, really different. I love new tech, and this is new tech. I've got to say, at this stage, I'm really, really impressed with how it's holding up.
If you're running leg warmers, because you have no stitching here, you have no seams, you can't, like, they're so compressed, you can't, I don't want to try and pull them up to take the leg warmers off. Anyway, these are the issues I have to deal with. One of the unfortunate hidden truths that I have to tell you about, it's been my little secret, is sometimes riding to the M7, I'll ride on this T-way. And look, I'll drop the link below. I mean, I don't care. It's just, and the reason I don't care is because this is such a stupid system where you're put on a great bike path to access the M7, and then it just stops and you're told, get off. And it really pisses me off. So I do ride it. There's some bike path along it, but yeah, it is what it is.
Feels like I've been hypnotized. I'm terrified of losing you. Touching your body, but feeling like I'm all alone. You don't seem to want me, even though you told me so.
So that is the ride I expect the phone to be able to achieve. Okay? That's its minimum challenge, is that.
Not to let my feelings get to me. Sometimes I can.
So believe it or not, I was getting the tyres, and the guy who was actually doing it, he was like, oh, Chris, watch the videos, etc, etc. Really cool, right? I've got a question for you. I'd like to train without a heart rate monitor or without a power meter, but I want to train to cadence. So training with cadence. And again, like, I know experienced cyclists and things will probably sort of laugh a bit at that. We all pretty much find our own natural cadence to riding a bike. The nature of us, we can try and train at high cadence. You'll see us talk about stuff doing strength training on the bike with slower, really low cadence stuff and high cadence stuff. Essentially, when push comes to shove and you are going flat out, you will probably just be doing whatever naturally you find the most suitable for you to do. Come on in. That's all right, I'm out of here. Next episode, we're going for it.
I'm terrified of losing you.
Quick niche Sydney question. Does anyone know if you can ride from the M7 on the M5? The reason I ask is I had a look at Strava heat maps and it did show people have ridden to the end of the M7 and then M5 and back into Sydney that way, which would kind of allow me to do like a full big loop instead of an out and back. But from what I've seen, like I'm getting up towards the end here now, it just ends at a gate and it doesn't look accessible, nor would you want to ride on it. So anyone in the area, please do let me know.